All right, guys, we're gonna be doing this again.
All right, we're live. We're live now. So
This
now,
is live
it's
now.
working. Thank you guys again so much for being part of our episode 3 podcast of VIPs Only. Again, this is something that we're so excited to bring to everyone on here. Again, my name is Tablang. On the right, we have James Lopez again here this week. And we have a special guest. For this afternoon. We have Mr. Javen Bakunawa.
What's up?
Hey.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you so much
Excited.
for being. How long's that drive, man?
It was probably an hour and 25 minutes.
Okay, good. At least there was no
It's
traffic,
far.
right?
Yeah.
No traffic.
No, there was traffic, right? When
There was traffic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, you
Traffic
mentioned
red.
there's an accident or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is, hopefully with VIPs Only podcast, we're gonna have a lot of you can be seeing a lot of different guests, a lot of different speakers, a lot of different personalities and characters. It's something fun that we want to do. We want to go ahead and give you guys the best.
Yeah.
Right, the best. So we have the best here with us today. Javen, again, thank you so much for being on here this
Thank you,
afternoon.
thank you.
So since it's first time, so what we usually do here is each of us actually picks a topic. We're missing one of our speaker,
Yes.
our very valuable speaker today, but he's excused. So each of us, we're gonna have a topic, and hopefully you have a topic in mind as well that we can talk to. And the reason for having this podcast and when we came up with this one is just that we want to create a platform that everybody can see your backstory, right? Because most of the time, the people that actually been into the business or maybe invited on our presentations, when you present, they already see you like you're up there.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know your backstory. Here and there we tell our story, but they don't see the struggles, right? How you get up every morning, push yourself to do this, especially if it's something new for you, and also especially for the younger generation. So with that, let's start with a topic, Ace.
Yeah. So again, I want to hit the ball rolling. Really getting you guys into really think about this. But there's something that I really posted about a week ago. I think this was on Instagram, and this question goes like this. It goes, "What is your greatest fear? What is your greatest fear?" And this is something that I always look at, and it's something that I always want to reflect on. But let's go ahead and start with you, Javen, really quick. What is your greatest fear, man?
Like I said earlier, I was talking about this with my best friend. We're on the phone while I was driving here because traffic. It was taking a long time, and I needed to keep myself awake. So we just started talking, and it just got deep. And she was like, "What scares you?" I was like, that's a good question, but
A good deep question.
yeah, it's a deep question for to talk about it at like 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. And I answered her I told her that my greatest fear is growing old and not knowing what's ahead of me. Right now I'm 21. I have a whole list to complete. But what I'm really scared of is the what ifs. Like, what if I don't, regrets.
Yeah.
What if I'm old and like looking back, what if I did this? What if I did that? Like, it could have changed my life. Would I be in a different place from now if I acted a different way at, a different time? So my greatest fear would be growing old and having all those regrets of the what ifs. So.
Yeah. So it's scary, right? It's not knowing what's gonna happen tomorrow, right? That's why they said, value the present. That's why it's called present. It's a gift, right?
Yeah.
Without knowing tomorrow. So for me, kind of like falls in the same, category. But for me, it's like my fear is like not doing enough. I feel like I haven't done much, even though some people will say, why do you work so hard? Why you're always like outside working, having these late meetings, traveling. But for me, I feel like I haven't done enough,
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my fear in a way. and also a motivation too, you know, because at least I feel like if I haven't done enough, I have to do more, right? But I know in a way sometimes it burns me out too, because you like, you know, we forget to acknowledge the wins that you have or the things that you've already done, right? Because you know, sometimes your body takes a toll because, you know, you keep going, and you know, and sometimes we're in this momentum that we just want to go every time, and then we forgot to acknowledge and, you know, take time and stop, like, wait a minute, you know,
Just to look back.
yeah,
and
and look back, like, what did
your
I do
accomplishments. Yeah.
yesterday, or, you know, did I do a good job? You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you can down yourself through that as well. So that's kind of like my fear. But, you know, it's kind of like your defense mechanism, you know, how you can adapt on those things. And you can learn from it. You know, how about you, Ace? What's your fear?
Yeah, there's, you know, I want to share this quote with you guys by Mark Twain. It says here, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do, than by the ones that you did. So throw off the bowline, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails. And there's that one, you know, that one specific thing there, you know, it says there, you will be disappointed by the things that you didn't do. Like, again, we go back to regrets. So my biggest fear is, again, looking back, you know, not looking back, you know, looking back from when I'm 60 years old, or maybe when I'm 70, and saying that, man, I wish I would have done more, like at that time when I was maybe 20 or my 30s. You know, there was one of the things that I read as well. I don't know where I read it, but it says there that, you know, in your 20s, you can, you know, those 10 years, that decade will determine your future. So you can either break it by, you know, doing useless things, or really making it that those next 10 years big. Yeah. So that way you will retire in your 30s or retire in your 40s, right? You're set for life. So, you know, we talk about friendly competition, you know, in our offices where, you know, we have a lot of friendly competition, right? It's not all about just business. It's all about having fun. A lot of it is having fun, you know, and we're always at a point now where we're pretty much like, you know, hey, how much did you make today? You know, how much did you make last week? How much did you make yesterday? So, you know, I had a conversation with my wife. This was about a few days ago. And I remember that day specifically, I only made $6,000 that day. That was that one meeting that I had. And I kind of relaxed a little bit. And towards the end of the day, I told her, you know, I feel like I didn't do enough. Like, I feel I didn't do enough. And the crazy part, looking into this in perspective, 10, 20 years down the line, maybe 30 years down the line, I'm going to tell myself, yeah, you know what? I should have done more that day. Because whatever I do today, it will affect what I do in the future, right? So, you know, that's my biggest fear. Like, I didn't do enough.
But that's also like what I was saying earlier, is that, you know, I haven't done enough. I only made $6,000. But in the other spectrum of that, like, I'm glad I was able to get up and do that.
Yes.
Still make 6,000. Yes, it's not as the usual amount of money I earn every week.
Yes.
But still fortunate enough.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people gonna make $6,000, right?
That's right.
Even in a month.
Yeah, or in a month, or you may be working 2-3 jobs. You made it in a couple of hours. You know, so there's like that silver lining that, you know, yes, I regret I didn't do enough because that's not there's no consistency. Because, you know, sometimes that one is your fear too. Is like, what if I can't do what I did yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But it can also be a way of like motivating you. Like, that's still good. Like, I still made 6,000. I acknowledge, you know, it's still a win.
Yep.
You know, acknowledging your wins, so it doesn't burn you out. Because sometimes, like, just seeing that bigger picture of just, oh, you know, it's still 6,000. You know, you still made that money. You're still lucky enough. So sometimes regret can be also like, you know, a motivation in a way, right? Speaking of that one, like, you know, I've always seen this around, you know, they say no regrets, right? Have you guys regretted any decision you made in your life?
You know, actually, that reminds me. Have you guys seen that tattoo that says "No regrets"?
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking of that shirt. No
well,
regrets.
that's an exception. That's an actual regret that you had that tattoo. But the reason why I asked that is that, you know, what I've seen, what I've read, you know, you can't regret what you made or choose to do, or you know, the choice you made.
Yeah.
because whichever you do, you're still gonna learn something about it, or you can fail or succeed, but still there's something back. There's still value over there. It's kind of like, it's very binary. It's either a yes or a no. Whichever you pick, you made that choice.
Yeah.
So you might question yourself along the way, that, like Javen said, is what if I went this route, right? But still, you already did this one.
Yeah.
So have you guys experienced that? Like, I regret that I made this decision. Maybe it's a bad decision.
For me, it's not more of regret, but it's more of the what ifs. Like how I said earlier, when I came, just like you guys, I came from the Philippines, right? I came here when I was 8 years old, and to me, I'm 21, so that's what, couple years now. Until today, I think I told my mom, I was like, what if I didn't hop on that plane with you to come here to the U.S.? What would my life be? I'm 21, I'm fortunate enough to own my own business and make good money. But being in the Philippines growing up, I had a nanny, I had a driver, I had,
You had everything.
I had everything, thinking, I was living life. But what if I didn't hop on that plane and come here to the U.S.? Like, what would my life be in the Philippines? What's my major? What am I going to be working as? Like, those are the things that I don't call regrets. But what I'm wondering about, just like it's like you said earlier, it's like another universe. What's that parallel universe like?
What's life out there?
Exactly. Like, what would my life be if I didn't make that decision?
But that also ties up to the fear too. I 100% sure you have that fear even as a young age, like going to another country.
Yeah. That was scary. And not knowing any English or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
But
was scary.
now, like, it changes your perspective now that you are on the other side of that universe, because now you are here and you grew up here. Now you see it is not as bad.
Yeah.
That fear is kind of like forgotten already.
Yeah.
But it's more of like you look back, what if I stayed? What
Yeah.
could be that life be, right? So, yeah, so that's a very, very interesting.
Yeah, there's a project that I'm doing specifically, and it's talking about a little bit about that fear. Like you said, like, what if I didn't hop on that plane?
Yeah.
See, how I look at it, we're all entrepreneurs here, and we always have that fear of like, what happens? Like, what if? Like all the what ifs, right? And when we go back, I'm gonna go back and turn on back to your question, because that's actually a really good one. When we talk about fear, people don't start their business or they don't become an entrepreneur because they're so scared. They're so scared of all the what ifs, right? Like, what if this happens? What if everybody laughs at me?
What if I don't make it?
What if I don't make it, right?
What if they don't support me?
Yeah, exactly. And there's all of these different.
There's a lot of voices telling you.
Yeah, telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to think about it too as well. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, really, what's the worst that can happen if you don't start? Like, what's the worst that can happen? You fail? All right, that's it, right? And we all have to think about that. And we go back now. I want to tie in with the regrets question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of decisions that I've made in life where now I look back at it, I regret it. But at that time, it's not something that I regretted before. I chose that decision for a reason. I wish I would have chosen a different path, or I wish I would have said yes to something or no to something. But that's looking back now in the past, and now the past is the past. We can either do two things from it. How I look at it specifically is either we just keep thinking about it, it's gonna bog us down, it's gonna put a burden on us, or exactly how it said, the past is the past, it's done, it's happened. Let's just move forward. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just move forward.
But yeah, you can change your mindset. It's all about mindset and what you put in your mind and what you think, right? So instead of thinking, what if I fail? What if I can't do this? What if this is not for me? You can change it to something.
What if I made it?
What if I made it?
Exactly.
What if I become successful?
Yeah.
What if this was the breakthrough that I needed?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can change it in a way that it can be positive, because in the end of the day, you don't have nothing to lose, because at least you tried. Now you don't have that regret of, like what you said, is like, what if I don't know what's the answer on that one because I haven't tried it. I haven't seen that other universe or other side, right?
Yeah.
But now, like, okay, I failed. It wasn't for me, but at least I'm not gonna look back and question myself. What is life when you do that? Part of the business, or if I took that leap of faith, because at least you saw it already,
Yeah.
right? So at least you don't have that regret anymore. That I wish I've started.
It's just like one of those videos that I've seen. Like I've seen it multiple times, and what it is, it's a podcast. So there's a guy on stage, and he's talking about how he made it, but he gives one advice to the younger people, the younger generation. If you spend 1 hour in a week and go to a nursing home or a caring facility, and you talk to the older generations, you ask them just ask about their life stories, and you're gonna see in their face that there's things that they wish they could have done. I wish I could have went more dancing more. I wish I could have skydived. And when you ask them, if I offered you this amount of money, or all the money in the world, or would you trade age with me? What would you do? And the number one thing they'll say is, I'll trade age with you. With all that knowledge, with all that knowledge that they already had, and they go take your age, there's things that they won't regret anymore. It's the what ifs they're going to do it, because from right now, they can't do it anymore. Those are their regrets.
Yeah, exactly. Because at least, you started it, you saw how it is. At least you tried it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not regretting anymore that, maybe I should have started with Javen when he told me to do it, right? I'm not saying do it just because you want to see it, but at least, give it a shot. Just have an open mind, right? That's basically it. All right, so any more topics? You have a topic? All right, so I guess I can start with a topic.
Mhm.
So with a lot of things going on, kind of switching gears in here, how do you guys see the business, 5 to 10 years from now? Our state is starting to open up again. Some of the cities are starting to open up again. What do you guys see? Especially, in your business itself, you yourself, the business, the team, our industry, where do you see us 5 to 10 years?
That's a good one. We are always uncertain of what's going to happen in the future, right? But the thing is, how we look at it is we should really be creating a goal, not as just a short-term goal, but also look as a long-term goal. I'm turning 30 this year, right? And I look at it, I want to have a self-sustaining business where I can decide if I wanted to retire in 10 years. By the time I hit 40, I want to be able to have the chance where, okay, if I want to retire today, I want to retire. If I wanted to, let's say, for example, sell my business, I can sell my business if I wanted to, right? Or if I just want to just lay low a little bit, at the same time still continue the business and just really just push this to the limit. There's something that maybe I want to do. So how I see it myself in 5 to 10 years, or how I see the business in 5 to 10 years. Well, number one, right now we're coming off of a wave where the pandemic, well, we see it, we see all in the news, well, it's in America today specifically, the numbers are going down. So we're, personally, I don't see many now going to the hospital specific because of the pandemic. But we look at it where people are still going to have the same exact, how do you say this? We're still probably going to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, from what happened, from last year,
Yeah.
right? We're still going to be cautious. It won't be the same. It won't be the same exact thing. It's going to take us maybe a year to get back into the whole momentum and the whole swing of things. And in these next 5 years is you have to be able to adapt as fast as you can. Right. Yes, we have a lot of now we used to do a lot of live meetings before the pandemic, before COVID. We used to meet with a lot of clients, in person. And during the pandemic, we had to shift and really change from in person into more of Zoom meetings or online meetings.
Yeah.
And where you can adapt with that is moving in towards how's your business going to look like now, right? Should we go ahead and just do online Zoom meetings, or do we do in-person meetings? It's going to be your ability to how you can be adapting the situation. So 5 years from now, I see my agency. My agency actually grew during the pandemic. We actually did very well in the pandemic, and I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a year where all the numbers are gonna drop.
Yeah.
We almost did 8 figures. We almost did 8 figures in business for one of
Wow.
our products last year. And that was something that I was like, wait, what? We almost hit 8 figures. We were only $600,000 short. See, only $600,000 short from hitting 8 figures that year. And, this is something that I look into perspective. I was like, man, this is something that my agency can really grow in the next 5 years. So in the next 5 years, it's something where I want to be able to have not just myself or my partner be, in a high level, but all of our managers, our leaders are all in the same position where I was 5 years ago. Now, 10 years from now is where I see my business, the business itself, going to be like, it's just exploded. It just exploded.
Yeah.
We're not just in California, but we're in all 50 states. There was one thing that I remember James was saying. Is like, I think it was you. I think you said it like, I want an agent in every single state.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually a really cool goal. Long-term goal, I would want an agent in every single state, but it's not just an agent. But 10 years from now, an office.
For
An
each state,
office in
yeah.
every single state. That is something that, that would be really cool to see.
8 figures in an office each state.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh my goodness. Right.
So, I agree. Nobody expected this pandemic, like we always say. We caught off guard. But actually, this pandemic kind of proved that, hey, this business is really for us.
Yes.
This is really sustainable. Because our income didn't got affected.
Yeah.
Actually, it got better.
Yeah.
Our business was growing. Either recruits, associates, or numbers, productions. It was growing, right? So it proven that this industry, in the financial industry, is one of the stable industry. No matter what happens, even a pandemic or not. We're gonna have recessions, things like that. I'm not saying we're bulletproof, but at least we can get by, or better. And specifically, our industry in the life insurance industry, our industry actually was way successful and growing during the pandemic, especially last year, just because now there's a need.
By the way, you guys see those commercials on the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? All life insurance.
Life insurance.
It's on there.
Every time I watch Netflix or Hulu or YouTube, all the ads are, life insurance.
Yeah.
And now they're actually making it much more easier that you can just do it online, get a code, get approval, So that's the kind of like the ironic thing is sometimes, you explain it to someone, they don't believe on it, they don't need it. It has to take something like an awakening before they even see it, that they need it.
It has to be that catalyst.
Yeah.
On top of that, you said an awakening, right? I think this pandemic was an awakening to a lot of people, especially in our business. As an 18, 19, 20-year-old when I first started, they're like, "Oh no, you're just this. Oh, it's just a scam. I have a 9-to-5 job. It's secured, right? They said it's secured. Your job is not secure. Pandemic hit. Those same people who said no, I'm secured here at 9-to-5, calls me and says, Javen, I just lost my job. Can you still take me in? That just proved that our business is pandemic proof.
Yeah.
Those same people are now under our team. They're getting our guidance and they're asking for our guidance to see, they wish they joined me when I was 18 and didn't just, close the door behind me.
Yeah.
Now, because of this pandemic, it's their awakening that nothing is secure, and this business just proves that, it's pandemic.
And that's the
proof.
key. It's, a lot, like going back to the first topic, which is fear for a lot of our new associates, like are scared to start the business. It's all about planting seeds,
Yeah.
We're not saying like, oh, you join here, we train you, we guide you, we mentor you. Everybody's going to say yes, No, everybody's going to say no. Nobody said everybody's yes, right?
Right.
But that planting the seeds is very important because you're educating them on what's out there. If they say no, that's cool. At least I've said something.
Yeah.
But eventually, of course, we don't wish something's going to happen to them, but you're the first person they're going to remember because you're the one who shared that story, right?
Yeah.
So, how about you, Javen? How do you see yourself and
5
your
to
business?
10 years? Honestly, just like you, right when the pandemic hit, I talked to my mom. I was like, Mom, this business is going to be a lot harder because, you know, our team is known as from dark to dark. Before the sun rises, we're out of the house making these appointments. And right when we get home, the sun is gone again. You know, we're team dark to dark. And right when the pandemic hit, I was like, Mom, our numbers are going to drop. Our recruits are going to go down, and everyone's going to be scared to go out and actually help people, you know, and spread our word. And we actually hit our 100K, and then I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, really?
I remember. They were if I'm not mistaken, they were the last associates that hit the 100K before it closed. The first round, of course, there's 2 rounds last year, and that was during a pandemic, you know.
So in 5 to 10 years after or during the pandemic, that's when I kind of refreshed myself. Because right when pandemic hit, I was like, oh, a couple years from now, our business is going to be so slow because of this pandemic. But now that I see it's pandemic proof, because I learned that too. I thought it was going to, you know, it's going to tank. But now that I've learned that we're pandemic proof, 5 to 10 years from now, I believe that our numbers are going to be tripled, not quadrupled. We're going to have more people here. We're going to have more millennials because my age, we don't know anything about this, you know. With the pandemic and everything going on, they're reaching out more. They're more open-minded to actually talk to us, you know. So in 5 to 10 years, I see myself with a whole team of millennials everywhere. Right now, through the pandemic, I met someone all the way in Oregon, you know.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Oregon. I went to Oregon, but I didn't go there for business. But just like 2-3 months ago, I met someone in Oregon. Now she's part of the business. 18 years old, bro. 18 years old. So, you know.
The cool thing about this is he was able to get someone in Oregon with all these travel bans.
Yeah.
And that's just through Zoom.
How'd you do that?
Friends, Zoom, social media.
Zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
Zoom.
So 5 to 10 years from now, I want to have one agent in each state, at least one agent in each state, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, my number one state is, of course, California.
Yes.
NorCal and SoCal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your backyard, man.
Yeah.
Start with your backyard.
I got both sides of the state. I mean, the country, I just need the ones in the middle. So focus on the middle.
The little tiny ones?
Yeah, the tiny ones in the middle. So, yeah, so that was a good goal, outlook. And I really believe that our industry, our business is actually much gonna go bigger. For me, these things that happened, you know, this year and last year, it just catapult us, you know, much more faster to where we want to go. You know, it didn't actually stop us. So with that, you know, let me introduce you again. You know, one of the youngest guys in the business. Kind of similar story from us. But I promise all the ones that are listening and watching us, it's not all the same story.
Yeah.
But it actually, you know, that's how kind of like we started the business. Our roots of our business is actually, you know, surrounded, you know, by family. You know, it evolves with family. So one of the 100,000 earner in this business, like we said, one of also the equity share point holder last year, Mr. Javen Bakunawa. Welcome.
Thank you again.
So what we want to do is what we usually ask our guests is, you know, your backstory, right?
Okay.
How you started, who was Javen before?
Who was Javen before the business, right?
Yeah.
So I first started this 18 years old, you know, I'm still in high school, right? And senior year, all I'm focusing about is my varsity year for basketball, prom, you know, senior prank day and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, you know, you're a senior in high school. You know, you got to enjoy it. So,
Normal teenage life.
Yeah, normal 18-year-old, 17, 18-year-old. So that's what I was focused on. And growing up, I've always wanted to be a physical therapist in military rehab.
What sparked that interest?
Honestly, I was watching a movie. And I was little, and I was like, oh, that seems really cool. You know, you're helping, like, military and stuff. And I grew up in military. You know, my grandpa, my uncle, like, most of my family are coming from military. So I'm exposed to that.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And then also, like, just to go back, like, you came from the Philippines too, right?
Yeah.
What age did you?
I came here when I was 8 years old. I did not know a word of English. I did not know U.S. was a country. I was clueless. All I thought was Philippines, and that was it. So when I came here, it was very, different.
Yeah.
And
so was it hard for you when you started school?
Yeah, I started in school. There was a language barrier.
Yeah.
Kids were looking at me wrong. And I remember this one incident at school that I will never forget. When here at schools you have the milk cartons and they're in a box, right?
Yes.
Always does that.
And they
We
have different colors, right? And I didn't know that. In ours, it just says milk, right?
Yeah.
So it was an orange juice, but I didn't know that. So it was an orange juice. I grabbed cereal thinking it was milk. And I go in front of all the kids, first day there, free food. And I poured the orange juice into the the cereal thinking it was milk. And then right when I poured it, all the kids were like, "Ew, you're so gross. You're going to eat that?" And I was like 7 years old. I turned red. I grabbed the lunch and I threw it away, and I just played basketball the whole time. And I never, it was just so scary because I didn't know a thing here.
So you never touch a carton again, right?
Until I went home. I was like, "Mom, kids were laughing at me." And then she was like, "What color was it?" I was like, "Oh, it was orange." She was like, "Ben, that's an orange juice." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know they have different colors. I thought it was just milk." But coming here was really different compared to the Philippines. You guys know that. There was just a whole language barrier and the culture shock. And so coming here, it sparked me with that military background. I wanted to be a physical therapist. Everyone, nursing, our family, Filipino families, nurse. They all want you to be nurses, right? Because my dad was like, "Hey, high school's coming up, and then college. What are you thinking of?" I was like, "Honestly, I don't know yet." He goes, nursing. And my uncle in the background, he's a nurse. "Ben, do nursing. My mom and my grandma, "Don't do nursing. Be a doctor. Just be a doctor. We need a doctor in our family." I was like, "Oh, Filipino background, all about medical field, right?" And a couple years from that, before that, I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, but that's when you want to be a fireman or an astronaut, right? Yeah. I want to be a Navy SEAL. But then as I grew up, I was like, I want to be a physical therapist in military rehab.
Okay. How did your family accept that?
My dad, nurse. And then my mom was like, "Okay, I'll accept it. It's still medical field. Yeah. You're still going to help us when we're old. You're the one who's going to be treating us." I was like, "Yeah, then yeah." And then my grandma and my Lola, she was like, "No, just be a lawyer, doctor." I was like, "Oh." So I just went with it, and I stuck with it until high school, until now. And fast forward 18, like I said, senior year, all I was focused about was graduating, prom, and my basketball season, right? And growing up, my mom was never a 9-to-5 type of woman. She's always been a businesswoman. She's going in and out of jobs because she wants to start her own business, right? And right when I was 17, about to turn 18, she got into this business. And she was like, "Ben, I need your help, I want you to join the business." And this was at the peak of my senior year. I was about to start my varsity season for basketball. So I was like, "Mom," I was like, "It's not the right time. And then plus, I don't know anything about business. I want to be a physical therapist." I was set on that. And she was like, "Okay, just give it a chance. Just come to the meeting." I was like, "No, Mom." I was like, "I have practice. I have this and that. I have homework. I have finals. I don't have time for that." She goes, "Okay, when's your season going to stop? Finish?" I was like, "February." She was like, "Okay, fine, February." September, I turned 18, so now I'm legal for the business because you have to be 18. And February comes, and she goes, and we're walking down the gym with all the cheerleaders, call out my name and walking because I'm the senior night. She goes, pats my hand. She goes, "It's time." I go, "Huh?" She goes, "It's time. Your season is done." I go, "Mom, let me enjoy my day." She goes, "Okay, but just letting you know, it's time. You're going to go to work with me now." I go, "Okay, fine." So now I go to this big office in Monterey Park because we used to be from Covina.
Okay.
They invited us to Monterey Park, and I remember I just had headphones on. I had a polo on, and they had Jordans on, typical teenager look. And I go all the way in the back because everyone is in the front. They're like all happy and they're all like introducing each other. Oh, hi, I'm this, is that, I'm this, They're just, so happy to be there. And I'm all the way in the back and I'm like, why are they so happy, I was like, oh, this is annoying. I was like, this is what business is. A bunch of like phonies or whatever. That's what I thought,
Yeah.
So I put on my headphones and I sat all the way in the back. And then there's a guy who went up on stage, Asian. He was very good looking and he was small. And he goes up on stage and he was very young. He goes, oh, hi. He introduces himself. He goes, I started this business when I was 23 years old. Or I started this business when I was 18 years old. I'm now 23. So everyone's like, oh, he's young, everyone's praising him. And he goes, my story started when my mom brought me in. Same story as mine. My mom brought me in while I was a senior in high school. But before I graduated high school, I hit my 100K and I hit 6 figures. And that's when I unplugged my headphones. I was like, what is he doing? I want in. I'm a senior. My mom brought me in. I want to do exactly what you're doing because, it's the same story.
Yeah.
So I tell my mom, I was like, okay, Mom, I'll give you a shot. I was like, if I make good money here, maybe. Because, my dream back in high school was I had a license. We had cars, but they wouldn't let me borrow the car. They're like, you want a car? You want to drive? I was like, yeah, let me borrow that one. And it's like, no, you buy your own. So, they're like, we can give you a car, but we don't want to give you a car. My dad, this is one thing I love what my dad told me. He goes, I can give you a fish, right? Like, I can give you a fish, but I'd rather teach you how to fish. That's one thing that stuck to me. Basically, I can give you a car, but you won't value the car because it's just given to you. Unlike if I taught you how to get the car and acquire the car, you're going to value it more. You're going to take care of it.
Because you work hard for it.
Yeah, because you work hard for it. So my overall goal was to buy that car. And it was set. And it wasn't just like, a regular Honda Civic or a Toyota. They were telling me, just get, Asian families. Just get one of the reliable cars, Toyota, Camry, Corolla, Honda Civic. And,
all the Japanese
yeah,
cars.
Exactly. And I was getting into cars. I was like, no, I want an Infiniti Q50. And brand new, they're like 50, 60,000. They're like, oh, you can't do that. I was like, why not? I'm going to be paying for it. They're like, you can't do that with an amount. You don't have that money.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Mom. I was like, if I do this business, my goal is to buy the car, so I want to make however much I need to pay in this business. She goes, okay. And she goes, okay, go for your first step. She takes me to training and stuff. She goes, call your aunts and your uncles. No matter, NorCal, SoCal, whatever. Call all of them. See who you can get an appointment with. I said, okay. So I get on the phone, 18-year-old me, I'm all cocky, and I go on my phone, and I pick my aunts that you have those aunts that just love you and adore you. I pick those aunts that can't say no to me. So I hop on the phone, and I go, hey, auntie, I just joined a business with Mom. I have no idea what it is, so innocent, right? I have no idea what it is, and I need your help. I need your support. All you need to do is sit down, just listen to what I have to say, and me and my mentor are going to come. Just listen, no commitment, just sit down, listen to what I have to offer. And then at the end of the day, if you like it, then good. If not, it's okay. I'll still love you. They're like, okay, they're like, oh, if anything to help you out, anything to get you a promotion. So I was like, okay, cool. I set 4 appointments in San Francisco, and I show my mom the flight. I go, hey, Mom. I was like, this is my flight, She goes, okay, book it. I was like, okay, can I borrow your card? I was in high school. I had barely any money. She goes, okay, then book it. I was like, what do you mean book it? I was like, you're going to reimburse me? She goes, no, it's your work, so you're going to be paying for it. It's coming out of your own pocket because that's like your work now. I was like, oh, that's $300 that I don't have. I was like, I was already thinking negative, If I spend that $300, I'm going to be negative in my bank account. I was like, I can't do that. So I look at the other options. I started calling as hell. Hey, are you going to San Francisco? No. Why? Hey, are you going to San Francisco? No. I found another option. I took a Greyhound for 10 hours for $30.
That's so long. That's a long
Imagine an 18-year-old. I had no idea what to expect. It was just like a bus station in downtown LA. So many homeless people on that bus. It was so scary for me. I was I was dripped out. You know, I had jewelry on, had a gold necklace on, I had Jordans on, and I just looked like a rich brat kid, right? Because you know, it was like Christmas, and I had my Nike duffel bag, and I looked like an NBA player, right? I go into that bus station, and everyone's eye dogging me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared, you know. I hop on that bus, and I was holding my duffel bag like this with headphones on because everyone who passed by my seat stared me down and just looking at me dirty. And that 10-hour drive to San Francisco was one of the scariest things in my life. I was young, I was alone, you know, and everyone just looked at me like different. And now I was at San Francisco, I meet up with my mentor, and now we talk about goal plan. And so we said this, that, we need to hit this. I said, okay. And so I go to my aunt, and I just sit there. I'm taking notes as my mentor speaks about the business, right? And after that, you know, I come home, another 10-hour Greyhound, and I come home, and I see my mom, and I'm just tired. They didn't pick me up from the bus station either. From L.A. to Covina, it was probably like a 40-minute drive. I called one of my best friends. I was like, hey, I don't have a lot of money, but I'll buy you dinner if you pick me up from the bus station. It was, okay, yeah, just like buy me Denny's or something. I was okay. So we go to Denny's, and then we go home. And my mom's waiting for me. She goes, hey, and she gives me a hug, and she goes, I'm proud of you, congrats. And here I am all annoyed. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm tired. I was like, I don't want to do that again. I was like, if this is what the business has to do, like what I have to do every time, I'm out. She goes, Ben, you're not even listening. Like, listen. I go, what? She goes, you just made $3,000 from working 2 days.
Yeah.
I worked 2 days. Because I stayed there for a week. I worked 2 days. I enjoyed the rest of the week with my family up there. 2 days, and it wasn't like a 24-hour thing. You know, each client was maybe an hour or two.
Yeah.
And I worked for 2 days, and it was 4 clients.
So you like cram everything?
I crammed everything in 2 days so I can, because I told her, oh, I'm going to work there for a week, you know. And she was like, okay. And what I did was I enjoyed myself for 5 days with my cousin and my friends up there. I went to Six Flags and everything. And in that 2 days, Friday, Saturday, I went to work with my mentor, and I came back, and she was like, you just made $3,000 in that week. In my head, I was like, that week, I only worked for like 6 hours within those 2 days. She goes, well, you did it. And she was like, this was your first sale. And for me, you know, as an 18-year-old, I was like, $3,000, that's a lot, you know. That's a lot.
So did that open your mind to like, oh, this is much better, so at least I can focus in school?
Yeah, it was a lot better because it wasn't my first job.
Yeah.
My first job was actually my dad's business, which is janitorial. You guys know. Mm-hmm. They clean Mattel, the one that makes Hot Wheels and Barbies and stuff. My first job was actually like, you know, cleaning offices and vacuuming and cleaning the restrooms with them, whatever. That was my first job, and I was like, Dad, I don't want to work here anymore. He was like, why not? I was like, I'm stuck in a building, and I do this 2-3 times a day, or 2-3 times a week. I see the same people. I'm in the same place, and I drive far. I was like, I don't like this. This is boring. I don't want to be here. And then he goes, okay, come with me to my job when he used to work as an accountant. So now it's office, right? I go to his office. Now I'm his assistant. I'm doing, like, filing, you know, taxes and stuff, and I'm doing just, like, paperwork. And maybe I did that for, like, a week or two. Mm-hmm. And then obviously I was under the books because, you know, I was still young. And the boss goes up to me after working 8 hours of just staring at papers, and, like, the owner goes up to me. He gives me $20. He goes, go enjoy yourself some ice cream. Thank you for working today. And in my head, I was like, I was so stressed, looking through all those papers, and I get $20 and I was told to buy some ice cream to enjoy myself. I was like, no, office work is not for me. Not 8 to 5 job in an office. I was like, I cannot do this. You know, I'm young. I get bored easily. Yeah. And I was like, I can't do this. I told my dad, I can't do this. And that's when my mom was like, okay, come here. Like, you try this out. And that's after I made that $3,000 in, 2 days. That's when I realized, this is financial freedom. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Yes, I'm still a student. I'm still earning my degree for physical therapy, but this is making good money rather than working 8 to 5. You guys have worked 8 to
So
5.
so
or
this is
12-hour
what you
shift.
did now, like that kind of like spark, a fire to you that like okay, this one is much more sustainable because at least I can manage my time.
Yeah, because
Um,
being a college student, I have friends who work 8 to 5. Excuse me. They work 8 to 5, and then from 6 to whatever, they're doing school stuff. They have no sleep, and then they look at me. They're like, "You're traveling? You can afford to travel? What about school? Are you still in school? Why are you still doing school?" That's one of the top questions I get. I go, "Oh, because of my work." They're like, "What do you work?" And then I tell them about this business. They're like, "Whatever it is, I'm in." Because in this business, just like you guys, you work whenever you want. You wake up and you go, "Okay, I have a meeting at this time. Oh, wait, I have class. Let me Let me work around that
Yeah.
time." This business has taught me, you can work wherever, whenever, and whatever
Yeah.
time.
What
and
was like
place you want.
your struggles?
My struggle?
Especially like starting as a young guy
Uh-huh.
in this business. What was your struggle? Was it did your family? I mean, your immediate family was supporting you.
Yeah.
How about your friends?
Yeah, okay. So I think my biggest struggle was balancing school and balancing the business. Because my parents told me, if it comes to school and it comes to work, you better choose school. They're like, work, you can work whenever you want. You can just make up for it. But school, this is something you need to have. And I kind of value that. So I was like, okay, if I work an 8 to 5, I have no choice because, I'm giving my life to them. They're going to tell me, you need to work these hours. I'm sorry, I can't. I have a final. No, you have to work these hours. You don't have an option when you work those 8 to 5 jobs. Maybe some companies are, more lenient. But most companies that I know, if they give you a certain time to work, you can't say, I can't work that because I have class. So being in this business, and my biggest struggle was just balancing the two biggest things, which was school and work. But as I learned through the business and learned more, I can choose school and just work around my school, my certain school days,
Yeah. Did you have last couple of podcasts we did? Each of us kind of has the same problems as well. Before when they Ace talk about this business to his friends, same thing as Jevin. It was hard,
Yeah.
they don't believe.
They don't believe you.
Yeah.
When you start talking about it, you guys hear this. Is it a scam? Is it a pyramid scheme? Those are the number one things I always get. You're just scamming people. Even if I say, oh, I'm licensed by the state of California, though. Yeah, you're still scamming people. It's just a pyramid scheme. And that's one of the biggest struggles with us millennials, because honestly, we think everything is a scam.
Yeah. Did you have that issue too, Ace, because I know you started in sales when you were still in school as well.
See, for me, I didn't get the same back when I started. That was almost 10 years ago. When I was already doing sales while in college. That's one of the things that I'm very grateful for. I started doing that early. A lot of the things that I got as objections was actually, it wasn't more of it's a scam or something. It's more of why are you doing that? This is not your line of field,
Yeah.
You're going to school for what again? I was like, yeah, I'm going to school to be a nurse. Then why are you selling this? Right? Shouldn't you
Exactly.
be focusing on school? And I'm like, I just want to eat more. I just want to eat more in college, I want to go to McDonald's or Taco Bell or something, just have some more food.
Yeah.
But I was like, can you just help me? I just need some money. Buy one of my products, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Why don't I just give you money? Why don't I just give you money instead?
And that one is before this industry, right?
Before this industry, before doing our business, I was selling other products,
Yeah.
just anything to make extra money. And it's it's like, if you just give me money,
You gotta hustle.
there's no
Yeah.
satisfaction for that, right? I didn't
Yeah.
work for it; I just got it for free. But that's I mean, there's gonna be a lot of objections, especially when I was younger. I will tell you, this is with this company. This wasn't my first company. I used to be part of another company. and we're I was in the life insurance industry, and at that time I was 22 years old, and I would ask my aunts and uncles, can you get this product? And they're like, I don't want to get it. I don't want to die. So I thought to myself, like, man, you know what? I don't think this is
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't do it. I really shouldn't do it. And I did. Like a lot of people know that I stopped the industry for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I didn't come back for about a year and a half, and I came back about 2 years later, back into the industry, right? So I mean, I wanted to ask, because you had some really good points, just really quick, Now I probably know why now you're still in school, but how is your lifestyle now compared to before you started the business?
Okay, so before I started the business, we talk about traveling all the time. When your teachers or your professors ask you,
Like field trips.
yeah, like they're gonna ask you like, do you guys love traveling? You're gonna be like, yeah, I want to go here, I want to go here.
Yeah.
But it's just like talking. There's never action to it. But what this business had showed me is I never thought I can do business in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I never thought I can go to Vegas for a week and spend there with spend a week there and just work over there. Like we talk about traveling all the time, but we never just do it. It's just like a talk.
It's an idea.
Yeah, it's just an idea. But my lifestyle has changed so much with this business because I went to Oregon, I went to Hawaii, and I was still doing the business. There's not a lot of jobs where you're working and you can travel at the same time. And my lifestyle has changed because before, it's just an idea. And before I go out, I go, hey, Mom, can I have some money? I go, I don't have that much money. I was like, oh, Dad, can I wash your car? Give me, $20-$30, and then it's just those little things. And then now, my lifestyle changed a lot. Now, I go tell my parents, hey, you guys want to go grab dinner? I'll pay for it. It's just those little things that changed my lifestyle. It's just because of this business. You went from asking little bits of money and then just going out here and there to, hey, Dad, you want to go out for a drink? I'll buy drinks. Or, hey, I don't have those little talks with my parents where can I have money. We talk about now that in being in this business, the lifestyle is we talk about traveling. Hey, next weekend, you guys want to go to Vegas or want to go to San Diego or get an Airbnb just away from the city and just spend time over there. The lifestyle changed me so much because I can travel, I can work.
And it feels good that you're the one who can now provide sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
Let me pay for this travel. Or
Yeah,
this
exactly.
dinner. Instead of you on the other side, asking for it.
Just like how we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I've never been to Hawaii, and I go, hey, Kuya James, my brother's in Hawaii, and he was like, when can you come see us? And me and my mom look at each other. They were like, give us 5 appointments with clients, and we'll come see you next weekend. And I call Kuya James. I go, hey, have you ever been to Hawaii? He goes, no, but I would love to go to Hawaii. He goes, is this for business or is this for pleasure? I go, both. So we go to Hawaii, and we're there for 3-4 days. And we were thinking, 2-3 days was going to be for work, and we have 1 day for pleasure. But we crunched everything in 1 day.
Oh, nice.
We crunched everything in 1 day,
Nice.
and we were working. We went hiking. We went to a luau, As an 18, 19-year-old, I didn't think I can experience that through the business. I thought it was just an idea. My lifestyle has changed because of this business because it went from idea to a lifestyle.
And at least, a lot of times too, like your friends can see you like, oh, you've been working, you have a business. So do you still have kind of your adult life?
Yeah.
Teen to adult life.
My friends always grind me on this. They're like, oh, Javen, you work too much. Javen, we don't see you as much anymore. But it's because, my lifestyle changed drastically. Before I took the business actually serious, I was 19, so I was at the peak of my teenage, and I can go out clubbing, I went out to clubs. Every weekend I would go out to clubs with my friends. And then when I actually took this seriously, those clubs just started reducing little by little, but it wasn't by force.
Mm-hmm.
It was more of,
By
it was
choice.
my choice.
Yeah.
They're like, Javen, you're missing out. You know, we want you to go out. You know, I miss going out with you. Like, Javen, come hang out with us, right? But before then, we would go clubbing. I was thinking of, that's $20, that's $30, that's $50. Oh my God, I just spent $300 this week
Just
going-
racking up.
Yeah.
just racking up,
Yeah.
right? And now that I can, you know, because of this business, with my adult life and everything, I work and I work. But when I go out, I can spend, you know, $200 in one day, $300 in one night, and not worry about it.
Yeah, there's no such like pressure like, oh, I'm gonna go clubbing and pay this amount of money.
Yeah.
And I have to work for it again.
Exactly. All those times that you enjoyed, you have to work twice as much to make up for all those times that you spent in clubbing and
Yeah.
drinks and stuff. But now that, you know, this business has, like, you know, grown and I actually took it serious, I don't need to worry about that much as much anymore, you know. My adult life, I just work, but when I go out, you know, that one saying, you work hard, you play hard.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
one thing I like to live by. I don't go out as much anymore, but when I do go out, it's going to
You
be,
enjoy it.
I'm
You
going to enjoy it. Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, that's a very good story. Most of them, you know, some of them actually I don't know yet, even though we've always been together. You know, you keep saying that story too. The last thing is, because we're coming up to the end, is that, you know, we always ask our guests, you know, me and Ace ask our guests, like, how do you define success? Or maybe do you feel like you're successful already? You know, because, you know, each of us have different, you know,
Different aspects,
definitions,
yeah. Okay. So how do I define success? Before, you know, as when I first started, I defined success as how much money can I make? How much money?
That was when you were starting.
Yeah, that's when I was starting. My success is if I get the 100K. I'll think I'm super successful when I make this much amount of money. Before it was just money. Because, you know, that's what I was aiming for, was money. Because before I wasn't in it for the business and to, like, help people, you know, as bad as it sounds. I'm a kinesiology major. I love to help people, but my main thing was to make money so I can pay for schooling, right?
Yeah.
But now, how do I define success now that, you know, I've had those experiences and I helped so much people and I made good amount of money? Success to me is my team.
Yeah.
My success is in order for me to think that I succeeded is a story like Suzette. Tita Suzette, that's one of my success story. From a lady having, you know, 3 different jobs, and she has kids that she can never see because she has 3 jobs just to provide food on the table. And right when she took this business, you know, we took her in, she went from 3 jobs to 2 jobs, and then one day just calls us and says, I'm going all in. All in. I quit all my jobs, you know. I'm going all in. And at first I was terrified, you know.
It puts much
Yeah,
pressure
it put
too.
so
yeah.
much pressure to us because, like, what if, you know, like, it doesn't happen? What if, like, all the what ifs just started flying? But now, you know, I see these posts on, like, Facebook and stuff. She's out to Disneyland with her friend or with her kids. She's spending time with them. Christmas, you know, she bought toys for them, clothes for them. And then all I see now from her is I call her Miss Louis Vuitton because she's enjoying the business so much. She has all these Louis Vuitton collection, you know. Success to me is seeing my team succeed. When I see my team making money and, you know, their lifestyle is changing, just like from having the idea of having all those bags and traveling and going to Disneyland with your family to actually living that lifestyle. Success to me is seeing my team grow and my team fulfill their dreams.
Making a difference, right?
Exactly, yeah.
All right, that was deep. That was good though. Appreciate that. So, do you want to add more, Ace?
I mean, that's actually, you know, I love that definition of success. Number one, you know, it's not just about what you do.
Yeah.
What you succeed is about your team. right?
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that's really who's really going to be with you, right? So again, we want to thank you so much,
Thank you for
Javen,
having me.
for being on our podcast. You know, we thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Again, we do this for you, right? VIPs only. value, inspiration, passion, and success. We hope to see you guys again on our next podcast. Hey guys, have a great
Thank you, everyone.
afternoon.